Hello my dear friends, in this video I'm gonna tell you about our server. Blizzless is the only private server for Diablo 2 Resurrected in the world, which was made to play without botters, cheaters and indifferent Blizzard employees who just gave up supporting their game. It is full-fledged analog of the official Battle.net. There are no botters or cheaters on Blizzless because our launcher contains a built-in anti-cheat and server itself has different architecture. You can join the server and play for free. Blizzless should not be perceived as a pirate server. Our users have bought the game from its publisher, Blizzard Company, a long time ago and just want to get adequate service, which has not been available on official servers for several years. To play on Blizzless, you need to have the official game client with all updates. Access to our server will be given to you by the Blizzless launcher, which can be downloaded according to the instructions on our website blizzless.info or in our Discord community. By installing our launcher or our mod, you won't lose an option to play on the official Blizzard server. You can even play on both servers simultaneously. When Diablo 2 Resurrected came out in September 2021, over 1 million people played it in a few months. Back then, Blizzard was monitoring its servers well and Vicarious Visions Studio was developing the game. Great content patches were released, perhaps the best of them was patch 2.4 in April 2022, which allowed players to come up with over 16 new character builds. We never got tired of playing our favorite game from season to season in many different ways. But then the game began to decline. Blizzard stopped releasing updates, stopped monitoring the servers, and bots proliferated on them. Now, a bot goes through all of the content of the game without human intervention in 11 hours without needing any items or services from other players. Then, a botter begins to farm and game content on an industrial scale in order to sell virtual items on various trading platforms, both for real money and for in-game values, which the botters then exchange for money. It has gotten to the point that 90% of all characters on official servers are just bots. Most bots belong to large bot farms, which simultaneously run thousands of accounts. Botters dump such a colossal amount of items on the in-game market that they oversaturate it. Loot in the game stops making players happy when no one needs the items. In a game about loot, the pleasure of getting loot just disappears. As a result, disappointed players start leaving Blizzard servers on the third day after each season's launch. Bans for botting are rare. Blizzard has been ignoring this problem for 3 years. We wanted to create a server without these problems. It was difficult and took more than 1 year. Blizzless programmers nicknamed IETH and Killshot had to write the entire server part from scratch because they didn't have Blizzard source code. 2 Russian guys eventually did job better than Blizzard. They made a server with its own unique architecture and a launcher with an active anti-cheat, which doesn't allow anybody to run bots or use map hacks. Sadly, most antiviruses react on launcher as malware because it scans users' RAM looking for cheating applications there. All botters from official servers use many accounts simultaneously. Therefore, the Blizzless server does not allow you to run multiple copies of Diablo 2 from virtual operating systems. Live people, admins, are constantly monitoring what's happening in password-protected games in real time. We can raise logs and check if some user has been running the game for 24 hours straight. Admin can join to a password-protected game and ask a couple of questions to find out, is it a living person or not. They have a zero-tolerance policy for botters and cheaters.
Swiper, no swiping! Swiper, no swiping!
Oh, man!
Having gotten rid of bots, cheaters and multi-accounters, we decided to go further and improve the game itself, just like Vicarious Visions was doing it. On Blizzard server, there is a very tough meta at this moment. There are only 2 correct builds to play. If you want quick success, then you start with Blizzard Sorceress, because her Thunder Charm is unique and allows you to farm any endgame content, ignoring the immunity mechanic. Other character builds, for example, need expensive items to achieve the same result, which take a long time to farm. Those players who are determined to play longer and level to 99, all choose an assassin to the imbalanced Mosaic rune word. This hero is so powerful that she can play in a lobby for 8 people. Using custom mods, D2R community made tests for this character. Even if we increase monsters' health 32 times, the Mosaic Assassin will still cope. For example, in this video, streamer Mr. Llama SC was playing on difficulty PPL 64.
We're only gonna use one skill. Phoenix Strike 1. Easy.
This broken, obviously imbalanced build came online in one of the latest patches from Blizzard, which was made by incompetent people who turned the official servers into a bot nest. While working on the Blizzless mod, we tried to preserve the original spirit and atmosphere of Diablo II Resurrected. Our goal was not completely remaking the game according to the PoE endgame systems, or seriously modifying Diablo II beyond recognition. If you would like to play your favorite mod for Diablo II Lord of Destruction, such as Median XL or PD2, Blizzless can't fit your needs. But if you are looking for true D2R experience, like in 2021, you will definitely enjoy our server and our mod. So, let's talk about the Blizzless mod. What's it about and how it changed the rules of the game. Terror zones now appear in each of the game acts at the same time, thus allows players to increase the amount of experience and loot by playing together. Let me remind you, in Diablo 2 there is no separate loot tables for different players, so they are not interested in running at the same location. But if 5 players farm 5 different acts in one lobby, then each of them will receive 3 times more experience and the chance of finding runes will double. However, this reward comes with a serious challenge. In terror zones on Blizzless, monsters deal 75% more damage to players. Their health is increased, as well as the levels of spells and auras used by monsters. This is ultra endgame content for fully geared characters and well-prepared players. You can also expect strengthened act bosses. Bale has become a dangerous opponent. He learned how to deal damage with spells, and if you think that rushing into melee with him will allow avoiding damage, he will surprise you with his melee capability. Diablo no longer misses with red lightning hose at point-blank range. They fixed this bug, which was in the game since 2002. Mephisto can no longer be tricked by shooting across a blood river, or you can't get him stuck on the stairs. At Hell difficulty, Mephisto's and Diablo's health has been brought into line with Bale's health. Now defeating all of the prime evils is an achievement, not a routine procedure. D2R endgame has become noticeably more difficult on Blizzless, but players have received a number of tools that allows to handle it. Personal stash has been enlarged. Now there are 7 shared tabs. You can put items such as runes, keys and gems in stacks. All class sets have been strengthened to be in line with Tal Rasha's Sorceress set. Now each class set is well suited for farming hell difficulty and has magic find bonuses. The properties of unique weapons have been reworked. Now items that were nearly toothpicks and trinkets can finally deal damage, so playthrough with melee character no longer resembles a terrible torture. The rarest items in the game, which are nearly impossible to farm, are no longer useless souvenirs. They've received some juicy stats. Here, for example, Tyrael Smite armor from Blizzless server. Look, it has teleport. You can see the item changes on our website blizzless.info or via in-game encyclopedia that supports both English and Russian. Drop chances for runes and items on the server have remained unchanged and are fully consistent with Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction, so Silospan and max roll drop calculators will work well with Blizzless. 4 new rune words, Envy, Lightning, Voice and Nightfall, were added to the game, and 40 old rune words were reworked. Instead of nerfing the most powerful, popular and beloved rune words, as it was done in many Diablo 2 mods, we introduced alternatives to them and made the choice of weapons and armor a rather non-obvious task. thus gearing your character became more variable. New mercenaries have been introduced to the game, as well as the remained ones began to behave more adequately and learned useful skills. Lilith now looks like Lilith, not Andario. Diablo clone became stronger, he can no longer be killed by a level 5 paladin. We rebalanced the Thunder Charms, because different character builds need different bonuses, and if sorcerers benefited huge opportunities from ignoring immunities, then such charms were of little use to barbarians or necromancers. Let me briefly talk about each class, how it has changed at Blizzless, and what new features it has received. So, you're barbarian, huh? It's really nice to meet you. You would be pleased with enhanced unique weapons. Now there are several times more swords, axes and maces with decent damage. Rare and magic weapons now have a 50% chance of getting the enhanced damage affixes, so you should definitely pick it up and identify. If you like to scream at monsters rather than hit them, then the new Runeward voice will come in handy. Delirium can replace your teleport staff, and if you would unluckily turn into a Bone Fetish, you will still be able to use Warcry and find item even in this form. At the endgame, the Bonebreak Thunder Charm would drastically increase your chances to hit. Using it, Frenzy Barbarian can nullify Uber Bale's defense in less than 10 seconds. There are more cool weapons for the barbarians, your eyes would just run wild. Here is an updated Grandfather. Here is the Eternity Runeward, which allows you to teleport without Enigma. Doom, Breath of the Dying, Destruction, Last Wish are now cool runewords, and with them you can create your own unique barbarian build. So, you like Amazons, don't you? You will be pleased to know that the base damage of all crossbows has been increased by 36%. That's exactly how much they were inferior to bows due to their slower attack speed. Unique bows and crossbows have been revoked. Now they deal decent damage, and some of them can cast various curses. Mavina's set is now cool and fits 3 different archer builds. Javazon and Spearzon proceed to clear entire screens of mobs with one hit. These amazing builds aren't changed at all. There are new unique weapon for Poison Amazon build, Gargoyle Bite, and new Thunder Charm, which will effectively double your damage by making poison damage apply faster. Items which allows other classes to summon druid spirits existed in the game for a very long time. Amazons never used them before, because those stupid spirits were vaporized from any speed and gave mere useless bonuses. But now you can increase your attack speed by Spirit of Wolverine or reduce enemy physical resistance by Spirit of Thorns. Amazons become more variable, and many powerful runewords have been introduced for archer builds. Let's talk about Assassin. After they've nerfed Mosaic, we rebalanced the entire martial arts skill tree. Now you can play any martial art from the very start of the game without special items. Charging up skills now always hit like Paladin's Smite. Charges no longer disappear over time, but last until you spend them. If you would miss, the charges would not be spent. To hit an enemy with a finishing move, you now need a hit chance check like in classic Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction. The chance to hit increases with the number of charges. New capabilities became available not for the martial arts only. Trap Assassin can now use Crescent Moon Runeward in class-specific claws, which makes her very strong at the season start. Dragon Tail Assassin can use Lawbringer in class-specific claw, and thus cast the Decrepify curse with a kick. This build is one of the strongest in the endgame, but requires many expensive runewords. The Shuriken-wielding Blade Fury Assassin has received the most amount of buffs due to huge selection of powerful weapons. Imagine an ethereal Schiefer hammer in her hands. Considering that launching Blade Fury still doesn't require any attack speed or cast speed, this assassin can carry a Black Cleft Thunder Charm with empowering concentration aura and a slow ethereal weapon without self-repair, but with big-ass damage. Good old Paladin. Hammerdin is still one of the strongest builds in the game. Exorcist Smiter got a new toy, the Principal Runeward, which allows him to auto-cast Fist of Heavens when he hits an enemy with a shield or a sword. There were no sense to use any other shield which is not Spirit or Herald of Zakarum. Now there are plenty of good shields, such as Sanctuary Runeward. It has everything except cast speed. Unique Dragon Scale, especially good for Elemental Zealots. Alma Nigra, which is auto-casting Corpse Explosions. And finally, a good set shield, but it requires Paladin to collect other Griswold pieces to receive these powerful buffs. The Zealot has a lot of weapon options in the endgame, you don't have to stick to the grid. It is totally possible to play the game as a melee Paladin from scratch. After the update there are plenty of good unique swords and one-handed axes. Wanna try a completely new build? The Wrath Runeward have been reintroduced to the game, allowing you to use multi-shot, so you can make a Ranger Paladin with Fanaticism. Another Runeward for the endgame. Famine gives to the Paladin access to the explosive arrows and fire mastery, which combined with Holy Fire Aura allows you to melt bosses and unique monsters. To the Necromancer updates. Each build of this unpopular class has received buffs. Bone Necromancer can now shoot teeth like a shotgun at point-blank range. Each of the teeth deals damage instead of just one. The Poison Necromancer can finally keep the Bramble Runeward because Enigma now has an alternative, another Runeward which grants teleport, named Nightfall and available only in Shrunken Heads. Do you like skeletons? We've noticed their delays between hit animations and reduced them from 15 to 6 frames. There is a special Sunder charm for summoners with penalties that prevent other character builds from using it. Now, if you invest real skill points in Corpse Explosion, this way skill damage increases up to 250%. The Fire Golem now deals more damage when you recast it and explode. The explosion damage now scales with skill level, and they also fixed a bug which caused Golem's Holy Fire Aura to scale incorrectly with level. Druid, the poor fella, was the most unpopular class in the game, and he received significant buffs on the server. A new Runeward Envy will add some meaning to choosing this class. A Druid would be able to get loot from killed monsters the second time, almost like a barbarian, but worse, since he has no synergies to find item skill. We brought back the Shockwave Bear from Blizzard's patch 2.5. You may remember this build, which lasted only one season. The Summoner Druid got an improvement for minions' behavior. Their force delay between attacks have been reduced to 6 frames. Now each of the Druid spirits is useful. Oak Sage increases both health and mana. Its survivability was increased. Heart of Wolverine increases damage better and accelerates attack speed. And the Spirit of Thorns reduces enemies' physical resistance in a large radius. Thanks to these changes, the Druid no longer looks pale against the Barbarian as a support character, and his independent builds have become stronger too. You can create a new build of the Biting Werewolf or Werebear. Hunger skill now always hits like the Amazon's Impale, but does small damage. You can extend the buffs of skills Maul and Feral Rage if you'll invest skill points in their synergies. Werewolves now run faster, while Werebears have more health and attack rating. And finally, Sorceress. Considering total dominance of this class on official servers, we couldn't avoid significant nerfs for Sorceresses. Thunder Charms for Cold and Lightning no longer remove monster immunities. Instead, they increase the damage of cold skills like Death Fathom and penetrate lightning resistance like Griffon's Eye. But apart from this, the Sorceress didn't receive any nerfs. Worth mentioning, now it's impossible to farm Mephisto with a naked Sorceress, because this boss no longer gets stuck on ladders. Blood River on his location is impenetrable for spells, so he can stand up for himself. As before, many players would start the game as Sorceresses due to accessible teleport. For the endgame, 3 powerful builds are still available. Nova Sorceress with Infinity, Fire Sorceress with Flickering Flame and Phoenix, and Enchantress with a crossbow. But the Demon Machine crossbow can now be swapped for the Famine Bow. It deals more damage and automatically casts lower resistance on the enemies, but does not pierce them. A melee sorceress with Dual Dream can use the new Lawbringer, which will give her the Zeal skill and great lightning damage, or remain faithful to the Passion Rune Ward, which now deals great physical damage, allowing you to effectively use Mana Leech. For true lightning builds, a new rune ward named Lightning was introduced. It can be made only in class-specific sorceress orbs. This class probably has the most benefit of the Mercenaries update. If you want a hired killer for immune mobs, you can recruit a powerful Hindu mage, or a nimble rogue who fires volleys of her most powerful arrows, or just a classic Arab warrior with a long stick, or one of the 3 barbarians. There is a berserker with 2-handed sword and a huge health pool, a frenzy with 2 swords, and a frenzy with 2 axes. To play on our server, open our website or our Discord server. You will find links to them in the description of the video. There you will find instructions on how to connect. You will need to download the launcher that will connect you to our server and download the mods folder, which contains the Blizzless mod. I also advise you to immediately download the in-game encyclopedia and loot filter. It will make your gameplay experience much better. The server is free. We don't have any monetization or pay to win. We run server capacity from voluntary donations from players. The maximum number of concurrent players on Blizzless server which it can handle is 6,500. They have servers in New York, USA, Frankfurt, Germany, St. Petersburg and Novosibirsk, Russia. Players connect to the closest server automatically. There are no separate realms, and you can play with whoever you want. For now they have 4,000 unique users, but they expect much more to come. Currently, they are running PTR to catch and fix all bugs before the upcoming season. On September 12th, all characters from the open beta test will be wiped out, and the first season will begin on our server. In the future, all characters from ended seasons will be moved to non-ladder with their items. In non-ladder, absolutely all game content is available, including all rune wards. Our mod can be even played offline if you launch the game via Blizzless Launcher. Join our community Discord, where you can leave feedback, share your opinion and find friends. We'll be glad to see you on Blizzless. Until next time.